Here we are. We are live with the
Woo!
Three Trees launch day has come. The book is out, and we are ready. We are ready. So, just setting it up on some of our social media stuff. Hang on a second. There we go. Get all that stuff out of the way. Just making sure it's working across all of our various platforms. We're actually going live into 3 different areas. We are in the Greater Things main page. We are in the Greater Things YouTube page. And we are in my author page.
Wow.
Bit of a success story right there that I was able to do all of that collectively.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are. So for everyone watching, one, thank you for turning up. I'm sitting here with some of my favorite people in the world. And I know when people say that sort of stuff, do they really mean it? I do.
Good. Thank you.
Yep. So right beside me is Trish. She is my Eve. She is my wisdom. And if you've read the book or the prologue of Eden's Blueprint and the epilogue, you will know that is her. And so very much a part of this whole process is my Eve. Then we have the wonderful, the amazing Susana. How you doing, Susana?
I'm good. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing well. Do you want to tell everyone what I've just done to you, Susana?
You gave me a heart attack.
There you go.
And I'm trying to take deep breaths in and slowly release the air to calm down. So you've just asked me to sing Eden's song. I haven't rehearsed. I haven't warmed up my voice.
Well, we just got to hear her warming up her voice, and pretty much anyone who knows Susana or has listened to Susana knows the beauty and the wonder that you're about to hear that flows from the heart that is Susana. So it's just so good that you're with us. And then we have the wonderful Jessie DeCourcy. How you doing, Jess?
I feel like you always give me a heart attack, but it was kind of refreshing to see that go on to Susana. I'm not going to lie. That was nice. So I'm doing really well. Thank you. Super excited to be here. Yeah.
So, Jess, you've been part of this process in its entirety, from its conception of going, this could be a thing, to right to here this day where it's actually in people's hands. How does that make you feel?
Wow. Probably like you. Just, it's surreal. Like, to watch it go from this dream to a reality today is incredible. I'm so happy to be here and celebrate this. And to have it in my hands, I mean, really, it's a real thing. Just so happy and so excited for what's coming and what you've done with this.
Yeah. Well, Trish has been there from the conception of this whole thing. Well, even beyond that, when we were walking around our suburb, and I was saying to Trish, I think you should write fiction, and this is what I think you should do.
And that always works well, doesn't it? And it's your idea. Let's see what comes out of you.
Yeah.
And it has.
Yeah. I think part of the wonder of doing this thing I've called Three Trees, for Trish and I, this has been like each night I'd sit and read to her the chapter or what I'd written and just get feedback and sort of flow back and forward from it. And the encouragement that Trish has been into this world is, whenever you do something new, you look for the people around you that want to walk with you and speak life into the vision, the dream, the journey, and that's what you've done.
Yep. Just watching the way you've grown in your writing, and just your questioning, your curiosity, your exploration, that comes through your writing. And it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She's not allowed to make me cry.
Did you ever think you had that in you?
I guess, to be honest, yeah, no. Well, 12 months ago, I hadn't published Eden's Blueprint, and I hadn't written anything of the epilogue and prologue in Eden's Blueprint, which is the first 2 chapters of 3 Trees. And so to even think that I was a writer, that felt to me to be a step too far, and I just didn't think that I would actually get to that space. Like, it was a dream, but you know, some dreams you have, you just go, I don't know if this is ever going to be a thing. And for years, I've sort of held that thing as like a dream. And there were times where it felt like the dream got completely taken out of my hands. And there were other times when the dream became something that I've gone, oh, it could be something. If you had have asked me, even 12 months ago, whether I'd be writing fiction, I think I probably would have just had a bit of a laugh about that, because I thought if I was going to do anything, it was going to be in the non-fiction world. It's going to be in the place of going, this is the lessons I've learned from my life, and explaining them like I've done in Eden's Blueprint. So no, Susana, I couldn't have imagined. But now that I'm here, this is why, for all of us that carry dreams, speak your dreams out. Let people hear your dreams. Let people hear the wanderings of your heart, of going, could this possibly be? And before you know it, like, God starts drawing people around. And that's what I found in this journey. We're like, with the 3 of you, like, Susana, I know months ago I said to you, I want a song. Do you feel like you could write a song? And you're like, me? Yeah. And I'm like, I can't think of anyone else I would want to write a song for me than Susana. For Trish and I, we've had the joy of sitting beside you, worshipping with you, singing with you. We've had the joy of you saying, here's a new song, can we have a crack at this? And for the both of us, we sort of walk away from that going, we've just been in one of the most precious moments, because Susana has shared part of her soul and spirit with us in song form.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very precious. And I think part of even doing this launch with you guys too, like, the things that I do, I love doing it in collaboration. Like, I think writing can be a lonely thing. I think songwriting, and being a songwriter for a long time, that can be a lonely thing too. And even being an artist, Jess, like, there's moments where it's just you in that space, and you can get lonely. So when you do things in collaboration, all of a sudden, some of the wonder and the beauty of the people that surround me start being seen. And so when, Susana, you dropped that song on us, it's just like, I don't want to listen to any other song right now. So and Trish knows, I sat here in this room just listening to you sing that again and again and again. And like, Jess, when I got the book in my hands, and again, Trish knows, I'll sit there with it in my hands and look at the beauty and the wonder of the art, the artistry, the creative inside of that. And so when I'm sitting there holding it, I'm looking to a journey. And so Trish has read through that book more times than, maybe not Jess, probably Trish just read through this book a lot of times. And she's there, okay, this is what I'm hearing, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm believing. And she'll add things to me to say, oh, could you do it this way, or could you do it that way? And so this collaborative process for me has been extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Susana.
Yes.
When I asked you to write a song, other than freaking out and going, can I do this? Where did you go from there?
I went to Psalm 91, to be honest, and I'll have to bring it up because I don't remember the whole psalm. But Psalm 91 he speaks of the shelter, sitting under the shelter of the Almighty, and that's, I saw myself in the garden under the tree of life, and that's from that position I wrote Eden's song. So sitting under the tree of life, every time I sit there, I'm under his shelter, I'm under his love, I'm protected. He surrounds me, he's watching me, he's listening to me, and so that's the place that I wrote Eden's song, just being under there. So every time I would think of what is it to be in the garden, I'd be sitting under the tree of life with Jesus.
So one of the things I love about that, Susana, is that's an activation. That's you sitting, using your imagination and going, okay, what words drop next into my spirit? And it's not just about words, it's also about some of the music that sort of ties into that too. And again, this song, which we are going to get to hear you sing in a sec, is extraordinary. It's a heart connection. And I think when you do stuff in collaboration, hearts do connect as well. Like, it's just, wow, God's done something for Susana inside of this time through something that we're doing as well. Jess, how do you feel about Susana saying that sort of stuff?
Oh, I agree, but I love hearing it from your lens, because then I get to just fully walk into your story and your journey with the song, and that gives it a completely new layer than I do when I just listen to it from my own perspective and my own journey through what you've done through your words. Because that's exactly, it's like an activation. It's like just being in presence with him and sitting in that under that tree of life for me, and to know that that's where this came from, just it adds so much to it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I still sing the song, or just hear it, read the words, just to remind myself to go back and sit under the tree again, because I'm sure everyone does. I'm hoping that we sort of get out of, we move to the tree of knowledge. Like Matt, like your book inspired me. Eden's Blueprint took me to Eden's garden, to the Garden of Eden, sorry, and then the Psalm 91, the tree, and that all inspired me to write the song. So what you wrote in your book, and then reading Psalm 91 just opened up a world for me to write from that place. And so in Eden's Blueprint, you talk about the tree of knowledge, the tree of life. You also speak of that tree in the three trees now in your book now. So writing Eden's song has helped me now in my life. It reminds me to go back and sit under the tree of life when I'm fearful, anxious, hopeless. Yeah.
I reckon you should sing it for us, and I'm going to get Trish to interact with what she's just heard as well. So as you're grabbing your guitar, what would you like to say?
I'm going to make her cry. So, Susana, when you sing this song in particular, it takes me to Eden. It takes me under that tree. Mm-hmm. And I think it quite possibly does it for all of us. That's just me overgeneralizing, but there's something about your voice that has God's hand on it. And when you open your mouth and you sing what's come from your heart in your time with him, you reveal his presence. And it's a gift to all of us.
Yeah. So good.
Am I supposed to sing after that?
Yes.
So if it comes out horrible, I blame it on you guys.
I'll own that. Nothing out of your mouth comes out horrible.
Yeah, I've sung next to you now for 3 years, and I've not heard anything horrible in the 3 years. So,
thanks.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I love you guys.
We love you too, Susana.
You guys speak so much life into me. Okay, I'm ready. I see under your season new. Every moment of my day, I am renewed under your love, under your love. There is no striving, there's just you loving underneath your shelter of love. There is no worry, there's no anxiety underneath your shelter of love. Your wings surround me, your eyes upon me. In this place I find me in your love again. Your arms uphold me, your love transforms me. My heart is strengthened in your love all over again, all over again, all over again, all over again. Your love strengthens me again, all over again, all over again, all over again. Your love strengthens me again. I see under your shelter of love, here I find I'm completely at rest.
I think you can see the comments, Susana. It's all beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being you.
Yeah.
I probably should say that first. Thank you for sewing into what we're doing and connecting. It just means the world to Trish and I.
And I just wanted to say as well, Matt, thank you for allowing us into your world. It's really beautiful. It's opening up my imagination and helping me to understand or see a different perspective. Seeing things through God's eyes in a way. It's really beautiful. Thank you for what you're doing and what you've done and what you'll continue to do. You've blessed me.
Well, I asked Susana the other day whether she'd write another song for the next book, and your answer was?
Oh, absolutely.
It would have been awkward if you said no. So I've got probably about 10 of these books in my brain that I want to start doing. Susana, are you up for that many songs? Can we do a whole album of Eden?
Absolutely. I'm in for the ride. I'm all in. I love roller coasters. Love it.
It is a roller coaster when you're working with me.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even joking. Like now, today.
And you still love us.
So much. It's crazy.
So good. Let me just ask Jessie a few questions as well. Jessie, like, this journey has been amazing. Having Winnie join us in this journey,
Winnie.
That's a standout moment for me. I love that she decided to correct your work and do her own painting. And I am so proud that that's a part of the book. For anyone who has not seen the book, there's Winnie's edition.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. And so there's the front. That's the one that Jessie's done. That's the correction.
Yep. The bald eagle.
Yep. How does it feel, Jess?
Goodness. She's still correcting me too, because I'm working on the next kind of image of eagle. And I thought I finished it. I showed her and she said, I just need to take that from you. And I just need to make one change. You did this wrong. I'm like, oh, it's special. I sat her down today and we actually got to celebrate as a family because we just wanted to soak in this moment. And even as you show me that cover and I just see my image with hers on the back, it's like, to be able to do this with Winnie is something that's so extraordinary for me. This is the first book that I've actually illustrated, and it's absolutely a dream come true for me, being an artist my whole life. So to share this first moment with me that I get with Winnie, and that was her actual word. So I said, what's your favorite thing about this for you? And she said, MATT, math. And I was like, okay, but creatively, like, what's the best thing that you've enjoyed? And she said, I just like that it's your first time and you're older, and it's my first time and I'm only 6. And I was like, it is like just watching her world and her thoughts around this and how special it is for her. But she gets it. And we got to go out to eat and celebrate that with all the kids. And we even sat as a family today and read through a chapter and just marveled at this special thing that we get to do, and to feel like my family's included in that is such a gift. Yeah. And it helps her confidence. I mean, wow, it's through the roof right now. So she is geared and ready for more creation, more artwork. Absolutely.
And so just when we first started talking about this idea of you illustrating it, the other day you said, I thought 6 illustrations were going to cover it, and over 20 illustrations later. What's been the thought behind that, or what's the process for you?
Man, well, so my background's really in just a photorealism. So I've always loved painting stories of Christ or anything from the Bible, but in a way that I could really truly see myself in it. So I'd always use my own models and use family members to bring that story to life for me. So this opportunity it's like my version of doing a fictional piece versus this really real storytelling that I'm used to. So to collaborate with you and create something entirely new that was really different for me was, I just found myself kind of like you, Susana, just sitting in that place with the Lord and just Like, how can I do this differently and sit in this story that Matt has painted for us already with his words? Like, it's so vivid and so extraordinary, the imagery that you get. So how can I do less of exactly how I see it and kind of create something new with what Matt has done, and maybe less is more. Maybe I can play with some more focused emotional storytelling. So we're not really seeing faces, and I'm not exactly filling in what I think these people actually look like. I can leave that to everyone, so everyone can walk into this story and see themselves in it too. So that was just it was like a playground for me to discover that I could do this in a whole new way. So that's why we went from 6 to probably like 30, because there were some that didn't even make the cut for Matt to see. They weren't even to par to where I would share them, but I was still having fun exploring and trying new methods and things. So.
And so there's 30. I think we printed about 20 though, and there's thereabouts.
So, yeah.
Key inspiration behind some of that stuff? Yeah.
I think it was in that collaboration too, of just kind of asking you what styles you could see, because this is a world that felt so pure and so in tune with creation and nature that I didn't want it to be so artistic, and I wanted to strip away a lot of things that I would maybe normally do. And I loved the way that I could imagine this in a really fresh way that gave me a new lens, I think, with the discovery of line and simplicity, if that makes sense. So I thought that spoke a little bit more clearly in a way than giving and revealing too many things with too much information, again, just too much detail. So creating a whole new style was really it. So that really started from the cover, and just starting from that place of like, I kind of having that shocking moment when you asked me to, like, ooh, can I even do this? And then reading your actual words and going, oh, I just want to live up to like this, what you've put out there. I didn't even know if I could pull it off. So starting with the cover and seeing that we could create a style, and then carrying that through the whole book, and carrying through certain textures and movement, and making it all feel connected, was something that I really enjoyed.
I always love when you share the brief that I gave you, and I told you what I wanted, and I said, I was simple. What were the other words?
Simple, clean, symbolic.
And symbolic. And then you said, can you send me something that kind of represents that? And it was the most complicated thing in the world.
It really was. I was thinking like just like a little, like simple, just like a couple lines, like maybe even kind of gestural. And he sends me this like very intricate, very detailed, like, I was like, wow, that's a different thought of what simple means. Yeah.
There's sometimes you can fake knowing something about a particular field. That was one of those moments I couldn't.
It turned out all right.
But just like you and I have chatted around the concept that this is not the only time you're going to be drawing. You've already said that you've nearly finished the next cover. How does it feel to think that we're going to be doing this for a while?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's just exciting to see where this is going to go, and where these stories, and I've gotten to read ahead to some of the work that you're creating now, and it's just getting deeper and deeper. And again, with those layers that we were talking about earlier, there's just more depth and more creativity and more things coming to life, and that excites me. I just can't wait to continue to be a part of that.
It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today we're going to get Trish to read a chapter from 3 Trees. And so if you haven't got it yet, you can buy it right now. So you can go through our website, and you can get it from there. And you can also get it from Amazon, but a lot of online bookshops are now stocking both Eden's Blueprint and 3 trees. I've even been told that Barnes and Noble have been stocking it, which is super exciting to hear that. So feel free to grab it and be a part of it. So if you've read Eden's Blueprint, you'll know that there's an epilogue and there's a prologue that are what I call a parable. Like Jesus used parables in the Bible to teach a greater concept or a greater idea. And so that's the context behind what I started writing. And so once I finished Eden's Blueprint, we got it out, I just really felt like I wanted to keep going with this. And so I took the prologue and the epilogue, and they are chapters 1 and 2 of 3 trees. So I've done a little bit of editing on them so that they fit better with the story, but they're there. And Trish is going to read to us chapter 5.
Chapter 5. Amongst the shock I had just experienced, another question came tumbling out of my mouth. Wait, my lord, I yelled. Why does Eden need to close? Eagle, for that answer, you are going to have to come on a journey with me. The designer smiled as he said this. And remember, I said it was for a time, not forever. I watched as the designer went back to Adam and Eve. The love he had for them was tangible. Even now, nothing was being withheld from them. But what they clung to the most were the new clothes he had made for them. I could hear him speaking to them about the challenges that were ahead outside of Eden. This was another slowing down moment for me. Outside of Eden. Outside of the designer's heart. It began making sense to me. Shame could not remain in the designer's heart. Even now, would the designer have let them stay in Eden if they had chosen to reach deeper, past the sorrow, disappointment, and separation they were feeling? But he wouldn't make them do anything they wouldn't choose. After everything I had just experienced, I wanted to rush to them and tell them of a more profound and powerful love than all the pain and shame they were feeling. Then wisdom appeared next to me, and I already knew the words I was about to hear. Eagle, they have often walked with him in the cool of the evening. They know his love. They know where to find it. They have let his words go. Wisdom paused before continuing. It won't always be like this. You have heard the designer say, they will come to understand this love, and one day you will see them again sitting under the tree of life. I sat with Wisdom for hours, thinking of everything I had witnessed. The designer was right. Some of it I wished I had never seen. But then again, if I had not seen it, I would never be able to understand what I felt. And that dead tree, I didn't know what that meant. The sun was setting, and as usual, everything in Eden stopped to watch it happen. This painful day was at its end. We sat and watched the colors of the sky slowly changing. Darkness would soon settle over Eden, and Adam and Eve would be gone by the time it lifted. That evening, angels came into Eden. I had seen them before, but this time they looked different. Gone was the carefree attitude and the willingness to engage and enjoy the designer's magnificent creation. This time, they came with flaming swords and stood resolute, preventing access to the tree of life. Nothing would pass by them, and Eden was closed for a time. The 2 trees would continue to grow and thrive in the middle of Eden, but now Adam and Eve could not look upon them, nor will they be able to put their fingers into the soil beneath the tree of life. That night, I sat high in a tree and pondered everything I had witnessed. So much had changed in such a brief space of time. I was remembering brilliant times when I would watch the designer walk and play with Adam and Eve. Their laughter would fill Eden, and their joy affected every part of his creation. Nothing was withheld from them, and everything thrived with life and abundance. But I will never forget that strange lizard, the words that it spoke. Those words needed to be remembered for when that strange lizard, or whatever form it took next, would dare to speak again. I needed to remember. But what I will remember most is the grief of those moments when shame flowed from a voice, and then it became a choice. I would soon learn that once it became a choice, their identity would be next thing to change. That could be one of the hardest things to heal. If shame had seeded itself in my life and I had killed that lizard, my identity would have changed. Maybe I would have been known as the bringer of death. Maybe all my friends would have feared me and what I could do to them. Maybe I too would beg for somewhere to hide from the shame that filled me. But I had touched healing and discovered so much more. My talons reached deep into the ground, giving me the healing my spirit craved. From the ground, this healing would come. Slowly, wisdom's words were coming back to me, and they were making sense. What was it she said? The seed had to go into the ground and die before new life would come. It was something like that. So what is this seed? Where will it come from? What fruit will grow from that seed? Did that dead tree have anything to do with the seed that had to die? I could feel the truth of wisdom's words, but the picture eluded me. While deep in thought, I hadn't even noticed the sunrise. I definitely didn't notice the designer sitting next to me. The shock of it snapped me out of my thoughts and back into the present. The designer whistled a tune I had heard before, but had trouble placing until he spoke. He looked over everything he had created and said, "It is good." Then I realized he always whistled when he was resting and gazing over all he had created. He was just waiting for me. The next chapter of this great love story was about to unfold, and he wanted me to see it. He wanted me to understand it. "Eagle," he said, "from this day forward, I'm inviting you to record everything you see. As I said, some things will be great and mighty, while others will break your heart. Remember, at any time, you can reach deeply into the ground and touch the love that flows through all things and holds all things together. Never forget this love, and know that it is always there. Even in your worst moments, when you have made your greatest mistakes, it is still there, and nothing can separate you from my love. Nothing." Once he finished speaking, he simply said, "Come, Eagle. I want you to meet two brothers. Their names are Cain and Abel."
Wow.
That's chapter 5.
So good.
Thanks, Susan.
Goosebumps.
I don't want it to stop. Can you just keep going?
Part of the joy of doing something like this, like I said at the start, is the collaboration. My heart is to see more and more of the creative heart of God expressing itself through all the different forms that we have. And we all have them. Like Susana said to me earlier, would I have imagined that this is what I would be doing? No, but there was a thread of a dream somewhere inside of there that refused to die. And I want to be a person that holds the dreams of not only myself, but the people that surround me. And so, like when Jessie said, lots of people have asked her to illustrate books, but it's not actually come to this point. I can't tell you how blessed I felt to be the guy lucky enough to have her doing this kind of stuff. And it's the same deal with Susana. Like, it's just like, can you write a song? And then she presents something that I just don't ever want her to stop listening to. Something of the great love story that Trish is reading here is flowing already even inside of this moment. And so for you guys who do choose to buy it and jump on in and read it, very much it's an ancient story, but I've added my story into it. And like you guys heard before, Trish's story is in it in some way, shape or form. Like, she is wisdom. And so when you see the great eagle wisdom inside the story, that's often the conversations Trish and I have had over coffee. And I've allowed them to become something of the story of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. And so when you read and you discover the characters, like one of the questions that people have been asking me is, which character is me in the story? Am I the great eagle that oversees it? And I say, yeah, I am the great eagle, I don't know, but I am eagle. But I'm also Adam, but I'm also Eve, I'm also Abel, I'm also Cain, and there's other characters that get included in this story. And you'll find inside of it so much of the way that I process how much I do life, and the things I wrote in Eden's blueprint are the things that I'm putting into story form in Three Trees. Wow. And I've found that this journey for me has been quite therapeutic. It's been quite healing. It's been quite an interesting place to sit with fictitious stories or parts of stories that you know so well. Like, I grew up in the church, I grew up with Sunday school, I grew up memorizing these stories, and so they're things that I know, but now these are things that I want to breathe life into. And so if you know the story of Adam and Eve, it's in a very few short chapters of the Bible. That's it. Abel, even shorter, and Cain, maybe a little bit longer, but not much. And so often I think that the Bible stories are just like the Reader's Digest version, so that they're whatever the story is, they're made very small to take hold of the main points of the person's story. I just wanted to create more narrative around that and allow that to breathe and to be creative inside of that and just see where it went. And so one chapter became 2 chapters, became 3 chapters. I didn't have any great plan or plot. I just decided just to keep writing and see where this all went. And when I finished Three Trees, which I pretty much did the first draft in a couple of weeks, I felt so released to do that. That as soon as I finished that, I started the next one, which I've just finished doing the draft of that one, and I've just handed that to Jessie so that she can start creating it. But that's like 100,000 words, where this one's 50,000 words. And so I said to her, how many illustrations are you going to do? She didn't this time. And there might be 3 songs in this. I don't know, but this is a place of creativity and collaboration. So from it, I've had people say, can you do a children's book out of this? And Jessie said, I might be able to illustrate that or do something like that. The other day, I had another friend of mine, the wonderful and brilliant Hannah Gamble. She drops another thought on me to say, could we write a book like this? And I sent a message back to her and I said, we could, and we being you and I, if we could take some of the brilliance of what she's done through the work that she's done, we could do something. And so the inspiration to collaborate continues to grow. And I'm the believer that what is ever the creator is inside of us. Therefore, we have the creator that can flow from us. We are creative. And so we're looking and we're searching. And so inside of this project was not just the 4 of us here. We had the brilliant Kate Johnson editing along beside, and she was going through it line by line. We had the amazing Jade Schultz, and she, one of the most encouraging humans that you'll ever meet. She went through it line by line and did part of the editing process with us. And so we have all of these people that's come together for a project. And even as I sit here and think, there are more. There is, and I won't freak anyone out and put anyone on the spot and say what I want and see the shock faces of Trish and Jess and Susana. But that's kind of how I operate too. Like, I love being in the moment. I love being spontaneous. I love listening and going, oh, could that be an idea and a thought? And strangely enough, these three have chosen to keep loving me, even though I keep dropping bigger thoughts on them. But if you're in the Greater Things community, you get this as well. And you know it. It's not about pressure. It's about passion. It's about love. It's about grace. It's about safety. It's about seeing the people that we are there. So hopefully this story for you guys is about seeing more of the scripture as well. Like, I'm really passionate about it. I do bend it a couple of times when you're writing fiction, like there are sometimes. So if you feel that I've gone outside the lines of scripture, have a read of the author note at the end of the book. There's two cool things. One's an author note, another one's an artist note. So Jess has written a few pages on what's inspired her in that. I've written a few pages on some of the choices I made inside of that, why the fictitious characters I placed inside of that. I really enjoyed doing the author note. It's probably the only non-fiction part in the whole book. But I'm excited to see where now this goes next. So the next story is Noah. And again, there's very limited information in the Bible about Noah other than an ark that he built and all these animals that got onto it. And so I feel like I've been able to explore and have the freedom to. And when you have people around you that love you and give you that grace to do that, it's one of the coolest things in the world to watch that actually happen and occur. It encourages and inspires. And so part of my hope with this, like, I'm 53 and I've just put out my second book and I'm brand new to this whole writing thing, and every part of it freaks me out a little bit and scares me. It's very vulnerable. And I'm hoping that everyone enjoys the stuff that I do, but I know that not everyone will. But I pray that this is like an offering to you guys where it's an invitation into your vulnerability places where you can explore the creativity. And like we've been saying, you can play with it. You can play. You can have fun. You can be who you are created to be when you're in these areas. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Any other questions there, Jess? Anything I should be, have I missed?
No, it was so good. But I just want to thank you for going into those really, the untold stories, I think, of the Bible that we all struggle with, we all wrestle with, and you didn't shy away. And I really enjoyed talking to my kids about that today as we were reading that. I kind of stopped before we went into the chapter and just explained what the very condensed version we get in the Bible and kind of what happens. I have some younger kiddos that I just wanted to kind of pause for a minute and talk about that. But then just look at, and I was so grateful in that moment to say, but what Matt's done here is just given us this place and this invitation to go into these really big moments with Emmanuel, to see how God is present in all of it. So thank you for bringing Emmanuel to us through your lens and your creative genius.
Thanks, my friend. Well, we're about at that time where we're going to sign off. So 3 Trees is out today. Feel free to jump on in. And like I said, you can get it through our website. There will be an ebook. The ebook conversion process takes a couple of weeks. I did it a couple of weeks ago. I'm still waiting for that to happen. So once that is back in my hands, I'll be uploading and you'll see that come up through Amazon and all the online things. But I'm not selling ebooks through our own website. That's purely in the online bookstores that you'll find that. So
we're hoping for an audiobook by
yeah,
Christmas.
we're hoping for an audiobook as well. And it's something that I'm trying to twist this one's arm to put away considerable amount of time to do this sort of stuff. We just want to make it as accessible as possible. So thoughts, feedback, I love that. So if you're feeling like you want to shoot something back, that's great. Always appreciate any reviews people put up online as well. That's always super helpful. But thank you, you three, for being a part of this extraordinary journey with me. Thank you for believing in me. I think that's a big statement, especially when you're doing something new, is finding people who go, yeah, I actually believe in what you're doing. But thank you for everyone who's been a part of the journey as well. Thank you for letting me speak into some of these areas of your life. And my prayer is, our prayer from this book or anything we do, it creates opportunities for you guys to be curious about God, to ask questions and to seek after him. Somebody pretty famous 2,000 years ago said, if you seek for me, you'll find me. If you seek for the kingdom of God, you'll find it. I take those words really seriously in that space. And when Jesus said them, I believe he meant them. And I also believe he created that space for us to find him in. So get curious. Ask questions. There are so many things in faith that boggle our minds. Some of the hardest things that happen to our lives that we think that we can't ask questions about. That's some of the stuff I want to answer inside of this book. The next one I know even more so, because in that, God decides to destroy creation, to restart. And there's some really deep concepts around evil, death, life, eternity that I want to, and I have become very curious about. So ask your questions is what I'm saying and inviting you into. Is there anything else we need to?
Thank you.
Can I say thank you?
Yeah, always.
No, you go after you, Trish.
She was just saying thank you.
Thank you for writing it.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for setting the tone to feel safe, to ask the questions. So and thank you for that. It's I never felt that I could do that. And since I've met you and Trish, my world has changed and I can ask the questions. So reading Eden's blueprint and now I'm reading Three Trees, I can see all the questions that I have had and continue to have being answered in a beautiful way, in a loving way. And so I thank you for that.
Thank you, Susana.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, that's it. Three Trees is out. Feel free to jump on in and buy your copy. There it is.
Yay.
Yep.
Buy a copy for you and for others.
Yep.
Share it. I've got it for you.
Everybody.
And I'm like, God, you tell me who. And yeah, I'm just doing it.
Amen.
Perfect. Okay. Love you all, and we shall see you all very soon. Bye for now.